Oh, that voice, your heart reaches up to meet it. The world today mourning the loss of singer and activist Harry Belafonte.
His publicist says the 96-year-old died of heart failure this morning with his wife by his side.
In addition to his musical influences, the Grammy winner is also known for paving the way for other Black artists and his years of activism and civil rights.
That's right. Joining us now to talk about all of this is our friend Kevin Frazier. You know him as the co-host of Entertainment Tonight. And Kevin, certainly, I think not only because of such the stature Harry Belafonte had, but his effort to bridge the divide, to speak out on social justice issues, really puts him in such a special place in all of our hearts. Really, talk to us about the space that's now left with this loss.
When you think of Harry Belafonte, you have to think of a man who used his stature in life to change the world, whether it was the civil rights movement, whether it was South Africa, whether it was something as simple as We Are the World and helping to bring that together. He was a man who put his money, his time, and his energy into helping people reach their stature in life. And so Harry Belafonte is a titan of not just music, movies, and entertainment, but also of the civil rights movement and the fight for rights around the world.
You know, there is a quote from Belafonte that I love. He said, "My activism always existed. My art gave me the platform." Talk to us all about how he worked so hard to try and lift others up, particularly Black performers in the U.S.
Yeah, well, when you think about at the time where Harry Belafonte became a star in the 50s, when he when his album Calypso hit and was sat atop of the Billboard album chart for 31 weeks and became the first album to sell 1 million copies. He received and made a lot of money. That money gave him power. It gave him power to help Dr. King, to help fund the civil rights movement. He was a key contributor to the March on Washington, but he also was groundbreaking when it came to entertainment venues in Las Vegas, helping to desegregate the hotels, walking into the Thunderbird Hotel and telling them, I'm not performing if you're not letting me stay in this hotel, swim in the swimming pool, and do regular things with other people. And then his groundbreaking special Tonight with Belafonte, which won him an Emmy. He was scheduled to do 6 of those specials, and they were then canceled because during the taping of one of them, Petulia Clark touched his arm while they were singing. And the sponsor said, please take that out, retape that moment. And they refused, and the sponsor ended up backing out. So he was one of those folks who really stood tall and cleared the way. So today we can have the performers, the entertainers in the venues and and reach the heights that they are reaching today.
And the way you just review it, Kevin, it kind of gives you chills because you realize that those things wouldn't exist today if not for him and other artists who use their talent, their platform, to help. You know, he had a Tony, a Grammy, an Emmy, a Kennedy Center Honor, a National Medal of Arts. What is the message for artists today, then? Because it seems as though the moral of this story is speak out about the issues you feel passionate about, but you know, today, not all artists do that. They perform and keep their opinions private. What do you think the message is here? Because there are risks to speaking out, as he experienced.
Yeah, do what's right. And that's what he did. He did what was right. There were, you know, he suffered in many ways because think about this, his movie Island in the Sun, it was banned in southern states because it had the inference, it just insinuated that there might be a relationship between a Black man and a white woman. And in the state of South Carolina, they said they were going to fine theaters if they showed that movie. So he took that energy, that negative energy, and he pushed it back into Dr. King. He helped fund SNCC. He helped start the Southern Christian Leadership with his own money. He, you know, helped fight against apartheid in South Africa. There were so many things that he did. It was a life well lived because he was willing to step to the forefront and help use his stature to change the world.
Absolutely. Founding several nonprofits, including the Gathering for Justice and the Sankofa Justice and Equity Fund. Really an incredible life and an inspiration to us all. Kevin Frazier, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.